The U.S. government assesses that Russia's forces are committing war crimes in Ukraine. There have been numerous credible reports of hospitals, schools, theaters, etc., being intentionally attacked, as well as indiscriminate attacks. Russia's forces have destroyed apartment buildings, schools, hospitals, other elements of the critical civilian infrastructure. We've been shocked by images of Russian forces and strikes hitting civilian sites in Mariupol, including the maternity hospital, a museum, and an art school. The United Nations and other credible observers have confirmed hundreds of civilian deaths, and we believe that the exact civilian death toll will be in the thousands. We have all seen really horrific images and accounts from the extensive and unrelenting attacks on civilians and civilian sites being conducted by Russian forces in Ukraine.
Where exactly are you expecting accountability to come from?
Obviously, we are going to be considering all the options that are available to us, including domestic courts. Obviously, we have the courts in Ukraine itself as the territorial state, and the Prosecutor General's office does have a war crimes directorate. Some funding from the Office of Global Criminal Justice is supporting efforts to build capacity within that office and help them do these cases ultimately if and when they have custody over particular perpetrators. I think it's incredibly important to shed a light on what's happening within Ukraine so that the people of Ukraine understand that the world knows what they are suffering and that they're suffering at the hands of an aggressive war that was launched unprovoked by Russia. It's also extremely important to continue to document what's happening on the ground, to preserve that information as potential evidence for future accountability purposes. We don't want to lose that evidence. We don't want that evidence to be tampered with. So it's extremely important that it be collected now and preserved with an eye towards future accountability. Secretary Blinken expressed his view that some of Russia's reported attacks did in fact constitute war crimes. He emphasized that the Department of State and other U.S. departments will be documenting and assessing the facts and the law surrounding these reports. The assessment has now concluded with a careful review of currently available information, both public and from intelligence sources. This review underpins the assessment that the Secretary announced today, that Russian forces are indeed committing war crimes in Ukraine. And we will share this information with our friends and allies and with international and multilateral institutions as appropriate. We are also supporting the Ukrainian Prosecutor General's office and their War Crimes Directorate and supporting civil society documentation efforts. I want to reiterate our solidarity for the people of Ukraine. We are committed to pursuing full accountability for war crimes in Ukraine using all of the tools that are available to us, including criminal prosecutions.